Hello, welcome to the virtual roundtable for February 16th, 2017. Today we have the Business Retention and Expansion team here to talk about their newly formed team and what they've got going on. As always, please type in your questions as they come up. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Jake Reynolds, the manager of the Business Retention and Expansion team.
Thanks, Amanda. Hello, everybody who's on. We've got a couple people here in our commerce room that are watching too, so thank you for taking the time. Hopefully we'll go over this PowerPoint that should take about 10 to 15 minutes, and it's basically just a little brief overview of what we're doing here in this newly formed BRE, or Business Retention and Expansion Division, as well as some of our ideas that have come from our strategic planning meeting back in January. Want to introduce you to the staff again, and then just some steps going forward for the next fiscal year. So getting started, I got to work here to try to change some slides. Oh, there's me, okay. Again, my name is Jake Reynolds, and I've been with Commerce for about 4 years now, about 4.5 years actually. And prior to my promotion into this division, I was Senior International Trade Specialist for the International Division, helping companies expand overseas and work on trade missions and things like that. So I'm really excited to have this opportunity. I've got to work with a lot of different clusters and industries, building some good relationships throughout the state through my trade shows that I did with them in different parts around the world. So I'm really excited to be here, and we have one person from our staff here that's here, so I'll be introducing the rest of them and what regions they are focusing on. So next we have Kim Glineski. She is our newest hire for the Department of Commerce, and she has worked at places such as Treasure Valley Racing, AgriBeef, and Micron. She's got a very thorough background in marketing and communication. She's a native to Idaho, so we're really excited to have her on our team. She's already been really excited getting out there and meeting with all her folks in Region 1. So Kim is on a conference call right now, so she couldn't make it, but hopefully you will all get to meet her at some point, and look forward to having her out and about on our team. So next we do have Jenny here. So Jenny, do you want to briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Most of you already know me. I have been at Commerce for about 2.5 years, working on Susie's team with Business Attraction. Prior to that, I worked at Department of Labor for 13 years. So I have some experience out there in the field working with businesses on incentives and workforce issues. So I am excited to get out and get to know Region 2 better. So that will be my focus, and I'll help some of the rural areas in Region 3 as well. So thanks for all the support we've received so far since we started kind of our new team in early January, I guess is when Kim and I started.
Thanks, Jenny. I'm just going by these through region. So this next region, I put a little cartoon up here, and it represents kind of what we don't know about Region 3. And a lot of the businesses, obviously, in Idaho are in Region 3, and we don't really know exactly how we're going to break that up yet. But one thing that this cartoon depicts, it just says, these graphs represent productivity of free-range and cubicle workers. So basically with that, I'm wanting our team to be able to get out and about, and having regions 1 and 2 so far away, and Idaho being a big geographic footprint, all of us will be working in all the regions basically. So when Kim or Jenny are done traveling up in North Idaho, I want them to be able to come down and meet with partners throughout Region 3 as well. We may end up breaking ourselves apart based upon industry clusters or maybe just locations around Region 3, but going forward right now, we're going to be very flexible in all lending hand and working in this region, as well as the other ones too. It's not just Kim's going to be up in Region 1. We all want to assist where we can and help out. So the next two gentlemen probably don't need much of an introduction. Jerry Miller. He's been with the department for a little over 21 years now, and he is one of our BRE specialists. He's worked a lot in community development and economic development for Commerce. Can't say enough about how much knowledge he brings to the team through all his programs that he works in. So we're really fortunate to have Jerry here. He'll be focusing on Regions 4 and 5, And also he's got some, pretty established relationships in Blaine County, so he's going to run with, Blaine County as well. But yeah, Jerry is unable to make it today, so he sends his best. And then next, Mr. Randy Schroll is our senior BRE specialist. And again, same thing as Jerry. You can't say enough about Randy with, the Idaho Department of Commerce. He's been here for, I think we'll be celebrating his 30th anniversary here shortly. So very, very knowledgeable about everything that Commerce has to offer in all divisions, not just our division. So we're really fortunate to have his expertise and his mentorship in forming this new team. And he's actually traveling in McCall out on the road, so he couldn't make it today. So back to our strategic planning and how we're looking at going about forming what our team does. We all sat down together in mid-January and kind of had a strategic planning session about what we thought, the directions we thought we wanted to go, and what we wanted to do to accomplish some of our goals. And we came up with this mission statement, and I'll just read it out loud and then kind of go over exactly what we mean by each sentence. But relationship building and information gathering through strategic and collaborative outreach with Idaho businesses and communities to facilitate business expansion opportunities and to mitigate companies considering relocation or closure. The first sentence really is about, when we started this new team, I sat down with Director Ronk and Bobby Joe and asked, what do you see us doing in this new team? What are our objectives that you want us to handle? And she said, really just go out and build relationships with everybody and, find out what the needs are in different parts of Idaho. And that's what we hope to do. Every place in Idaho is different, and it has different needs and struggles and opportunities. So by building relationships and gathering that information through our team here, we hope to do that. The next part I want to touch on this mission statement is the collaborative outreach and strategic outreach. You'll hear me say this a few more times throughout this presentation, but having a collaborative effort really is key to making this successful. And we've all said this before, we know that this has come up before, but sometimes we have 4 or 5 different entities or government agencies calling on business and communities looking to lend a hand, and everybody's doing the right thing and trying to be a support, but having that collaborative outreach and working together to reach these businesses and communities makes the most sense to us. So we're going to put a big emphasis on that. And then really it's just about facilitating our resources that we have here for expansion opportunities and to know in advance when companies might be considering relocation or closure. And again, all of this is through relationship building. We want to know what's going on out there and what the pulse is in these communities to find out where we can help. And again, with our strategic planning, we've got 2 gentlemen on this team who have had so much experience with the department and so much different ways of working within the different teams here. So we just sat down and kind of hashed out what everything that we do on this team and what the economic division has done before. And we came up with this list. None of it is more important than the other. But what we wanted to do is just get a whole comprehensive thing on, what we do and how do we break these down into more manageable, bolder points to work out our strategy. And we came up with our top priorities going forward. And again, I've said this a couple times before, but the first one being the face of commerce and relationship building. We want to be out there. We got the boots on the ground out in the communities and meeting with businesses. We want to know what the needs are so we can point them to the right direction for help, whether that's our business attraction team, whether that's working with our international department. By having ourselves in different regions and focusing on certain areas, we want to be that point of contact or that face that you can rely on to help build that relationship and find out what we can do to assist. The next one is EDO and partner support. I don't really view us as a team of 5 just located in Boise. I view us as a team of 5 in Boise with another team of 19 EDO professionals all over the state. And what we want to do is support them and support all our partners. So whether that is, attending board meetings or doing community events to traveling to businesses with our EDOs or partners. That's what we want to do. We want to be here for you as a support out of Boise, all of the state. We know this is difficult because Idaho, again, is a big state, and it's hard to just pop up to North Idaho or Eastern Idaho in one day, but we're willing to do that, whatever it takes. The next thing is knowledge of all resources and incentives. It's vital that we know when to sell the incentives that we offer and when they make the most sense, and what are all the resources that are available. Maybe it's not even from just the Department of Commerce, but knowing resources from labor and knowing resources from different grant opportunities throughout all of our partners is really a key for us to know where to plug and place people after we have a meeting with them. So part of our top priorities going forward is to just meet with partners to get a good understanding of what incentives are that we have and what other people have, so we know that when we go out and meet with these companies, we know what the right things to provide them with, or at least mention to them. And then another thing that kind of encompasses that whole list as well is marketing and training. We want to be known for helping companies expand their markets, and maybe that is, we gather all this information and we, help business attraction team here pull in a certain type of business that, is needed here, or whether it's, expanding new markets or company spotlights and write-ups. So we want to have all that type of opportunities through our relationships and what we can offer. And then training, whether that's training our staff here, or whether that's attending trainings together or having a big training session here at Commerce with all our partners and EDOs. We think those are very important to make sure we're all on the same page and we all are kind of knowing what's out there and knowing what we can do to get better, I guess. So in the next part, through what we have kind of come up with as far as what our process is for business expansion and retention. When I first took this new job, I reached out to 6 or 7 different states that had good BRE programs and just had phone conversations with them about what works for them, what doesn't work for them, what are some of the ways that they've had successful programs in the past. And a lot of them have these kind of acronyms or kind of key points and bullet points that tell what they're doing. And we took this and we didn't steal it from Accelerate Idaho, but Director Sayer, when they were making Accelerate Idaho, they had a section on there called Elevate Industry. So we thought, hey, that kind of makes sense for us. We want to go out there and we want to help elevate all the communities in Idaho. We want to elevate the businesses for expansion and keeping them here. So we thought that was a kind of a catchy way of doing that. Jenny calls it cute, but I think it's just a good way to remember what we're doing, I guess. So I'll just go through each of these points and kind of talk a little bit about how we're going to do that. I know that sometimes we get these acronyms in state government and they're fluffy and they all look good, but nothing really comes from them. So hopefully I can dive in a little deeper and make a little bit more sense for everybody. So first, obviously, is engaging with businesses and communities. And how we're going to do that is we're going to hold ourselves accountable. And we've come up with metrics as a team to, number of business visits, number of site visits, whatever that may be, to make sure we're out there in the field building those relationships. And we have our CRM system all set up to go to show how many meetings we're going on. Jenny and Kim are both already ultra competitive on who's leading the meeting count right now. So we're going to make it fun, and we're going to hold ourselves accountable to get out there. And I'm more interested in quality than quantity necessarily. So we're going to learn about what these metrics mean over the next 4 to 6 months, and reorganize and reprioritize after that. We want to do some write-ups and spotlights. You'll be seeing a newsletter from our team here. I think on April 1st, that's when we're going to kind of have our next deadline for our first BRE newsletter. And on that we want to do is do company write-ups and spotlights that are highlighting cool things that are happening with your businesses in your area or your communities. and just, give a little love out there to show everybody what that is. So hopefully we can all get you on that list to make you have that newsletter once it comes out quarterly. Letters from the director. Director Ronk has put an emphasis on sending out personal letters to companies that are expanding or new companies to Idaho, and she's kind of directed us to take control over that. And I must say it's been very successful thus far. We've Eric's sitting here as well, but Eric Fortune and I went to SHOT Show, and we sent out, I believe, about 36 to 40 letters that the Lieutenant Governor and Director Ronk met with during that. And we had a couple people reply back and just said, hey, that's a nice touch, that's unique. Thank you for doing that. So it's going that little extra mile just to have Megan sign something really quick. We want to do those little things to help build those relationships. There's some other initiatives through Commerce that are coming out. The Tested in Idaho campaign is kind of in its infancy, but we want to be involved with that to help engage with the businesses and the communities around. So as these come up and other initiatives come out, we want to make you all aware of that and make all our partners and companies aware of it so they can jump on board. The next part of the Elevate is L, leverage key resources. And I spoke a little bit about this earlier with the incentives, but we need to know all the incentives and how and when to sell them. And a lot of that too is doing your homework before you go out to a meeting and thinking of some ways that you might be able to help beforehand. We want to be prepared in being able what we can offer and provide. We don't want to have all the answers, but we want to be the place to know where to find them. I hope our team will know a little about a lot instead of a lot about a little. And we want to be kind of that resource information broker that we can find whatever it needs. We might not have all the answers to workforce development or other grants that are offered by federal agencies, but at least we can be that partner to assist in finding those answers for individuals, for companies, and really for anybody. Encourage collaboration, and you'll hear me say that several times already, and I can't emphasize this enough about the collaboration parts. Collaboration is a lot easier said than done. We see that even within our department, and it's not anything bad that's happening. It's just hard to corral. Everybody wants to go out and do a good thing. Everybody wants to be out there and meeting with people, but I think there's always a better way to do something, and we want to find out what those processes are and what the better ways of doing that is. We've tried to set up some quarterly conference calls with some of our partners, and we're going to be doing that throughout the state. Maybe Region 1 week and Region 2, but just giving everyone on board to see what they're working on and what's going on in certain communities and with certain businesses. Some of the things that we've done, and some of you may have seen this already, but we came up with a surveying sheet, I guess what you call it, that you can take to meetings, and it asks questions basically from, are you expanding your facility? Are you downsizing? What are your workforce needs? Are you selling internationally? What suppliers do you need are missing, and things like that. So just think of that power that would be if we were all asking those same questions and we were all able to use that data to do something. And I'm happy to share that survey sheet with anybody who wants to get on board with that. I've said trainings. We want to have some trainings here at our department, or looking to some off-site trainings that we can all attend and get better at economic development and business retention and expansion. We've talked about business roundtables with different partners and getting into some communities and having 15 to 20 like businesses or whatever it may be, sit down and have labor come out and commerce and SBA and whoever it may be to sit down and provide what we offer. What a better way to get that face-to-face time with a small group and be able to provide those things for them. And then ready teams. I've heard that since I've been here. Have your ready team ready, and what that means to me is, we had a call last week where a business called us and they were looking at expanding. We sent it to the right people in that division, in that region, and next thing you know, we had, the mayor was going out and somebody from the power company, and we had somebody from our team, and they were talking to labor. So like it just happened automatically, and that's so powerful to be able to go to those companies and to have that available to them right away. It looks professional. It looks like we're ready and we're there to help. Makes a lot more sense than having labor go out there 1 week and then next thing you know, the mayor's going out to meet them and then Commerce is calling them. Nobody really likes that. So the more we can collaborate, I think it's a huge part of our new BRE initiative. A value-driven mindset is the V, and what value does our meetings and our coordination do? And sorry, we just had a big burst of thunder out of our window here. But basically what the value-driven mindset's looking at is what I'm doing right now, and this is for our staff, but this could mean anything to you, what am I doing right now that relates to our BRE mission statement? Why does it relate, or why doesn't it, and what will be the outcome? I tell our team here that if we're going out and they ask, well, should we go on this meeting or should we do this? And I'm like, if it relates to our mission statement, then yes, that's something that's valuable to us. And then another thing I think is important for everybody to do when you're going out on business meetings is what value can I bring to this meeting? And think of that before. So many times we're all busy and we get some meeting requests, we're trying to set up meetings to get our quota or whatever it may be, and you're just showing up and not being prepared. So asking yourself those questions before you get to that meeting or just that face-to-face contact, what value can I bring? What do I anticipate this company may need? And being prepared for that beforehand. And then I think the most important, and we've kind of seen that with our letters, is the follow-up. You have to follow up, and we have to do it with some value. If you just, hey, good to meet you, looking forward to working with you, if you need anything else, let us know. Those things are always that way, but whatever value it may bring in the follow-up, I think is the key to forming the next part of the relationship. Analyzing data for strategic decisions, and again, my ultimate goal would be that everybody in the state was using that same survey sheet and everybody was asking the same questions about businesses, and we could have all this data and we would be able to do something with it. While that's probably unrealistic, what we do with that data when we get it from companies is going to be a key aspect of this BRE initiative. Other states do industry or community overviews with the data that they find in their specific industries or companies in their areas. Some states have done a governor-led or a business summit at the end of the year to kind of get together and figure out what all the strengths of the businesses are in Idaho and what the opportunities and threats are. And again, this data is also a key resource for business attraction. When you have, when you know what suppliers are missing, or when you know of what's needed in certain areas, attracting those kind of businesses could be a top priority for everybody. And then new market opportunities. When you get this data and you get those relationships, you can actually, forge new relationships with those, networking opportunities or referring a company to a different company to do business. New markets as far as, working with international teams. So these are kind of things we're looking at to do with all the data for our strategic decisions. And then this is the last slide, the last E in Elevate. There's 3 E's it looks like, but embrace change. We want to be able to, and we have this going all the way up from senior management here at Commerce, is we know that we're going to have to be flexible and change course on some of our goals and some of our strategies. Every community and every industry is different, and what we're doing right now is really going out, and everybody on our team has done a great job of hitting the road and finding out about their communities and about their businesses that are there. So, we're going to reevaluate at the end of this fiscal year and decide what needs to change. Were those metrics sufficient, or do we need to add to them, or do we need to take away from them, or focus on a different area? And we're kind of calling ourselves the startup team here at Commerce just because we're a new team. But again, all of this has been done before here. We're just looking to add some strategy behind it. But we're having an entrepreneurial spirit. We're calling ourselves a startup, and we're rewriting some things, and we're looking at everything on what our team has done in the past and seeing what's valuable and what's not, and making some decisions going forward on how we can change. And we're all excited for it. So with that, we just hope you engage with us, and we're always here with our phones on, and you can reach us on our cell phones or our emails. But thanks for taking the time to listen today, and we'd be open for any questions.
So we do have a couple questions. One, somebody would like the copy of your slide deck for this presentation. Is it okay to send that out? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we can send that out to you. And then second, would you like to know when a business indicates to me that they would like to expand? If so, what is the best way to communicate that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's part of what we're doing, and building that network with you. It's we always are interested in hearing about anybody who's expanding, or anybody who is having struggles, anybody who has new products coming out. I mean, I think the more we communicate on top of things, and our team's doing a good job of getting that regular communication back. Many of you have seen through the different administrations here that some people are maybe traveling to your areas a lot for a while, and then that kind of got pulled back a little bit. And we're really going to focus on that face-to-face communication with you. So we hope to know that before you even have to send that to us. But absolutely, 100%. Let us know if anybody's expanding. If somebody is, I would get Director Ronk to send a letter to them at the easiest to congratulate them. We'd love to set up a time where we can come visit next time when one of us is up there. Whatever and anything we can do to help, and just show some support to them that, hey, we're recognizing that you're expanding. We're recognizing that this is big for Idaho. Even if it's 2 jobs or 100 jobs, we don't care. We want to be there to support that.
I would add too, we are always looking for stories for our marketing team, interesting news bits. So as Jake mentioned, if a company is coming out with a new product and you think that's newsworthy, or you'd like to share that information, those are things that we're always interested in. So please let us know, and there's probably a way that we can get them, do a blog post about it, get it on our website, help promote them, and that's, again, like, while some of these things like helping them with international trade or working with incentives, those are maybe a little bit more complicated. That sort of thing can be like a nice, easy way to help promote a company, and a nice way for you to engage with them, or have an excuse at a local level to engage with them, as well as commerce from a state level.
Absolutely.
So we have another question. When you built your new BRE team and strategic plan, did you get input from EDOs around the state?
That's a great question, Debbie, and yes, we did to an extent. Obviously, I like to say we were able to talk to everybody and get input about, we had some input from EDOs about what kind of people we should hire. We had some input about, well, this is more important. But I would answer that question basically saying we don't really have a strategy yet. We have this framework in place, and this is how we're going to do it. But I think the strategy and the concreteness of what we're going to do will be built out over the next 4 to 6 months through June 30th is kind of our deadline with. And what we're doing is with the people in the field, we hope we're talking to you guys about what do you think's working? What do you want to see in what we're doing? So we're flexible to change. We don't ever want to come in and be like, this is how we're going to do it. This is the way it's going to go. Here's what you're going to do. That's not what our team's looking to do. We want to be partners, and we want to build this strategy. And it may be different everywhere. Our strategy in Lewiston may be different than our strategy in Idaho Falls. So having one set strategy on this is how we're going to do it doesn't really make that much sense. But most of our strategy right now is just getting out there, holding ourselves accountable with some metrics, and meeting with businesses.
All right, I don't see any other questions. Oh, this is Debbie saying thank you. You're welcome, Debbie. Jake.
You're welcome, Debbie.
Well, with that, if there are no other questions, feel free to get a hold of anyone here at Commerce if you have any needs, and we can certainly get you in touch with the right people. As a reminder, this was recorded, as are all of our virtual roundtables, so if you want to access this later or share it with anyone, please just let us know and we can get you that information. So with that, thank you, and we hope to see you next month.
Thank you, everybody.